NFL draft season is well and truly here with all the games now over from the NFL regular season and playoffs. It's off season for everybody. If you want the best NFL draft coverage from all the different Chat Sports YouTube channels, you've come to the right spot. Hit that sub button for me right now. Super Bowl 58 is in the books, and that means it is time to break down, as we did just like last year, my post-Super Bowl mock draft. Every team, including those without a first-round pick, have a selection in this one. We begin with the Chicago Bears. The buzz certainly seems like Caleb Williams is going to end up being the number one overall pick. In particular to the Chicago Bears, the Commanders might explore a trade up. I wouldn't get my hopes up too much for that one. But we're doing this in back-to-back years. Will the Bears trade the number one overall pick? This one, of course, they got from trading on the first time around. So will the Bears trade it? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me in the comments section right now. My mock drafts are always what I think teams will do, knowing that changes heavily and drastically throughout the pre-draft process. Drake Maye at number 2 is what I would do and what I think the Commanders should end up doing. I think his play style fits well into what they'll do under Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. I think he's a better prospect than Jayden Daniels. And if the Commanders don't go quarterback, I really don't know what that organization is doing. It should clearly be a QB. Number 3 is where things get interesting. Do they go quarterback? Do they go wide receiver? Maybe they explore a trade or a free agency signing for somebody else. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in this year's draft. The quarterbacks have extra value because they play quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr., though, is a special wide receiver prospect. Arizona might be a little bit disheartened to not get Marvin Harrison. In most draft classes, Malik Nabers would be alongside as like the top receiver in the class. He is an incredible playmaker. He brings yard after catch, explosive plays everywhere. It is, settling for receiver 2. This is a wide receiver 1 caliber prospect, though. Why do I feel like Jim Harbaugh is going to want a tight end in LA? Doesn't that just make sense for his typical offensive style? Greg Roman has featured tight ends heavily in the past. Move on from Gerald Everett. You now have a middle-of-the-field dynamic playmaker in Brock Bowers, who is among the top prospects in this year's class. I really thought about quarterback for the Giants here. I really did. I would not be surprised if they took one, and I actually might take Jayden Daniels over Odunze, but if they're really going to give Daniel Jones another chance, getting him an actual big body presence on the outside in Odunze makes a ton of sense. He's a different body type and playmaker than these other Giants receivers. Not that much behind Harrison and Nabers. It's a really good receiver class. It probably gets boring for Titans fans constantly getting mocked offensive linemen, but it makes sense, don't it? And if anyone's going to maximize Joe Alt and make him into a potential, all-pro left tackle, kind of feel like Bill Callahan's the guy to do that. The Falcons then at number 8. No trades here, but someone's going to trade for Fields, and someone might trade up for a QB as well. I think Daniels in an offense that features Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, that might be enough to win the NFC South. Kind of felt like the quarterback play was the big thing that held him back. New coaching staff in there as well. Atlanta needs to find a QB. Daniels would be a fun fit for the Falcons. So how many quarterbacks do you think end up going in round 1 this year? We're already seeing people don't think next year's class is that great, which I'm not sure I buy, but we'll get there when we get there. How many QBs go in the first round? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Vote at the pinned comment of today's video right now. The Bears take the first and only defensive player in the top 10. They get their pick of everybody. With no real medical concerns like Latu, Dallas Turner as an edge rusher opposite Montez Sweat. Good idea for Chicago. The Jets at number 10 take Fashanu, who I like a lot at Penn State. He's not that far behind Joe Alt for me. Impact starter at left tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers / the eventual future quarterback that's younger down the line. The Vikings at number 11. I really would not be surprised if J.J. McCarthy went in the top 12 or so. I think McCarthy, being with his age, the upside, knowing there is a massive room for bust potential, is appealing to several teams that are trying to find a young franchise quarterback. So I'll put McCarthy at number 11 to Minnesota. And I don't love my number 12 pick. So Denver fans, if you're mad at me, I get it. I could see Sean Payton liking Bo Nix's play style. and executing the offense the way he wants to. Would I touch Bo Nix in the top 15? No, I would not. Could I see an NFL team doing it? Yeah, I could. I'd rather hope that one of Penix or Nix falls to me at some point in round 2 instead. The Raiders at 13, how about Terrion Arnold, the cornerback? I could have gone edge. I could have gone corner. I think defense, if they're not going to trade up for somebody, makes a lot of sense for the Raiders and Antonio Pierce. Arnold offers inside-outside flex at corner in the way that not everyone in this class does among these top guys, making him a really, really intriguing piece for Vegas. Now, the NFL draft, you're trying to find some new people for your organization. Well, if you are a small business trying to find some new people for your organization, you need to be using LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for your role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. We found producer Chris through LinkedIn. Shout out them and producer Chris as well. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. It's a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. They are constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched the feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process easier and quicker. That's why 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Do make note, terms and conditions apply, but the link is in the comments section and the description of today's show. I don't really know what to do with the Saints. I think some upcoming roster moves will help inform us from that perspective. But Nate Wiggins, with maybe some uncertainty around Marshawn Lattimore, fits the mold of a quality outside corner they could probably use one more of. Brian Thomas at LSU to the Colts. Thought about the Saints for him too, by the way. Bigger body, fast, outside, wide out. Whether you keep Pittman or not, adding him to your receiving core to help out Anthony Richardson, I adore that idea. The Seahawks at 16, Liatu Latu out of UCLA. A slide could happen with uncertain medical conditions for Latu, but he is a very talented and impactful pass rusher. If healthy, could easily be the first defensive player taken in that top 10. Otherwise, he could be in for a slight slide. Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo to the Jags at number 17. I like his game. I'm a sucker for a Mid-American Conference guy. The Jags need corner help. Mitchell could be CB2 even. At least could even be maybe CB1 for some teams. I like this corner class and kind of this, mid to late round 1 range of some quality prospects there. The Bengals at 18 find their new right tackle, Taliesin Fuaga out of Oregon State. Fits their archetype of some bigger, powerful run blockers. He can replace Jonah Williams. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, who offers maybe some inside-outside flex. Maybe play safety, too. He's a really good run support player. The Rams need to find some more corner help this offseason. DeJean steps right in. All right, number 20, there's like 3 tackles that could go in, even maybe 4 if you include Fuaga, that go in any order that'll probably be off the board somewhere in the 15 to 25, 27 range. How about Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma? You could, in theory, move Broderick Jones to the left side where he played, or put Guyton over there too. I think he has the upside to play left or right tackle, which normally means those guys go a little bit earlier. Need some time to develop, but is a lot of upside as a tackle. Love this fit. Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon to Miami. He could also go 20 to Pittsburgh. Kind of feel like 20 to 24 is going to be Jackson Powers' range when it's all said and done. Offers some center guard flexibility. Plug him in at center. Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama to Philadelphia. Maybe edge is back in the cards, although they've got bodies despite the Hassan Reddick trade request. But Eagles need more corners. McKinstry can be a plug-and-play option. People like Arnold more than him. I am not sure I'm there, as long as McKinstry tests well. But hey, when teams don't throw you at Alabama, probably means you're pretty good. All right, Byron Murphy out of Texas. I would love to see an impact 3 technique for DeMeco Ryans' team. Murphy offers that ability. I think he's a better prospect than Sweat because he does more on passing downs. Speaking of those Texas boys. Marius Mims out of Georgia. Look, he was a right tackle for the Bulldogs, has barely played, but has the traits and skill set to play on the left side. That's what I think the Cowboys could do here. Would even give them time if they bring back Tyron Smith on a cheap one-year deal to not rush Mims into playing and bring him along and then make him your franchise left tackle down the road. J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Again, there's a lot of good tackles here. Latham could go as high as 18 or earlier than that potentially. I think he's a right tackle or a guard. Maybe Green Bay wants a left tackle, but the value for Latham is really good here at 25. So too is the value grade at 26. Jared Verse, the Bucks. Local-ish guy gets to stay home. Look, Verse, you could talk me into top 15 for him pretty easily. Top 16. People are going to slide. Always happens. Love the value there for Tampa. I think Darius Robinson's fit out of Missouri with the Cardinals is a lot of fun. He can do some 3 technique, can do some 5 technique, can do some, maybe not pure wide 9, but can do base defensive end stuff too for you. I think that fits really well in the Cardinals defense. The Bills get Keon Coleman out of Florida State here. Not the best separator, but does offer some big body frame stuff. I think he'd be a better version than Gabe Davis, and the Bills have to find an upgrade over him in the not-too-distant future. Who is your favorite prospect in the 2024 NFL Draft? Any player, any position, sound off for me in the comment section right now. Let's go to the Lions here, and I really thought about Zach Frazier, thought long and hard about it. Instead, I'll go Graham Barton because he offers, I think, some guard flexibility, which they might need depending on some free agency, what happens with Frank Ragnow seemingly considering retirement. Drazon Newton slides to 30 here. If you can't retain Justin Madubuike, I think adding Newton would be a fun replacement for Baltimore. Niners at 31. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's just nothing but pain for y'all in recent years. Chop Robinson. I doubt you retain Chase Young. Here's another young developmental pass rusher to pair with Bosa long term. Chiefs, guys, did it again. Classic Mahomes era stuff for Kansas City. A.D. Mitchell gives them, I still think receivers needed. Gives them a big outside threat to pair with Rashee Rice. Let Mitchell do more of the vertical stuff. Let Rice do the underneath stuff. That works really, really well for the Chiefs moving forward. And by the way, thought about tight end here, at least a little bit for the Chiefs. Some round 2 picks, because you guys matter too, Panthers and Browns fans. I'll double dip at receiver, and I'll give you guys some speed. I think both teams could use some more speed. Xavier Worthy, an outside burner for Carolina, where they have none of that to speak of right now. And Tez Walker out of UNC, a little bit early for me, maybe on my own board, but adding another outside threat to pair with Amari Cooper and some other pieces I think makes a ton of sense for Cleveland. Plus, it's middle of round 2 or late round 2, so it's all a wild card shot anyway. So grade my mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. It is not a real mock draft until someone calls it the worst mock draft ever, so feel free to give it an F if you need to in the comments. Some other prospects to keep an eye out for here that almost made my round 1. Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. I like his game a lot. Troy Fautanu is more of a guard. Maybe play some tackle out of Washington. Makes sense there. I like JT Sanders a lot. Maybe sneaks into round 1. We'll see. Braylon Trice is a reliable edge rusher. Not going to be a superstar 1, but can be a good number 2 for you. Ennis Rakestraw has fans in the league, too, out of Missouri. He and Kamari Lassiter could be in that late round 1 range.